So, with Kyrie Irving being the second option next to Luka Doncic in the 2024 NBA playoff series versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, he made the defense look completely clueless on how to stop him. Right here, he receives a kick out from Derrick Jones Jr., and as you can see, Anthony Edwards is hustling to get back. This here allows Irving to attack right to the basket past Ant, but then he's met with the double bigs and Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert down low. With most guys in the league, they would either try to throw this pass alongside the baseline of PJ Washington in the corner, or they would go for a wraparound pass back to Derrick Jones Jr. in the paint. But with a guy like Irving, he understands different angles to exploit with his amazing footwork, so he decides to cut back up the floor to evade the bigs. And then when getting into this fadeaway, I want you all to look at this contest. Yeah, Cat is literally right in his grill, but this doesn't matter as the bucket is straight cash. When you watch Irving, you'll notice that every move is used to set up the defender for the next. As here when Rudy is turned all the way towards the sideline, it's much easier for Irving to now attack towards the middle of the floor due to Rudy having to open up his hips all the way, and instead of continuing to the paint where there's multiple defenders who could contest him at the rim, Irving uses that bump with the off arm to not go bare backwards while simultaneously stepping back, and this one is just tough. Every time down the floor, Irving has something different for the Wolves to guard, and trust me, when he was in a groove, he would deliver a step back from 27 feet over 2 defenders with no problem. His offensive arsenal during this series was something special, and it was something that we all could marvel at, and it all starts in the fast break. Now, Kyrie might not be known as the fastest guy on the floor when it comes to beating you down the court, but his ability to change pace will catch you off guard when pursuing the basket, and if he has any daylight to get it off the glass, he'll get it up there quick before anyone can get to it. When pushing at Nickeil Alexander-Walker here, he uses the stutter steps to simulate a pull-up jumper, but this is also he can burst out that hezzy into an attack towards the middle. Now, like I said earlier, every move is used as a setup, so once he has Walker going towards the middle and Nasri closing in on him, this is when Kyrie uses that high carry back to the outside, and the leaning float off the glass is executed to perfection. These are prime examples of how Irving can use angles to exploit the defense, and on this attack at Nasri, you might just miss it if we let the play go all the way through, but when we bring it back and slow it down, you'll see that Kyrie ever so slightly gets into Nas's body while cutting off his pursuit angle, and when you extend the ball out far with the outside hand while shielding off the defender, it makes it entirely too hard for them to get a hand on the layup, and here comes the and one.
Nothing for two. Foul, count it.
Other times when he would get that head of steam like a couple plays ago, he'll push towards the middle once again, but unlike the play where he used a high carry to go back the other way, Irving just continues towards the left, and I mean come on, it's not too many guards in the league who are throwing up a left-handed high arcing float type lay that doesn't touch the backboard but still falls in. Yeah, Kyrie is just different, and if you try to mitigate the drive by backpedaling, well here's where you give up the 3-ball.
Alexander-Walker puts on the brakes and puts it up 3!
This fast break offense is what gets Kyrie's juices flowing, and man oh man does it get nasty in that half-court setting. With defenders picking up Irving high to potentially slow him down, all it takes is one screen to allow him to use that blowout dribble towards the basket, and right here is where you're certainly in trouble. As most of us know, Kyrie is one of, if not the best finisher the game of basketball has ever seen. So it's highly important for defenders to hustle back to get in front of him. But here's the thing, along with Kyrie being one of the best finishers, he's also one of the best creators as well. So although you want to get back to stop the attack inside, you must be aware that he can pull any trick out his sleeve. And on this play, he decides to use that nasty snatch behind the back, and bada bing, it's money team. If it's not a nice move into a mid-range jumper, Irving will rock the defender to sleep before bursting into the paint, and usually when Kyrie uses that bump into a sidestep, he'll put up the shot. But here's the thing, I always say you must be unpredictable in a sport where everyone is trying to predict what you will do next. So here's where Kai can all out full Nasri with the up fake and then nail a soft touch floater for 2 points. Honestly, it doesn't take a whole lot for Irving to put points on the board, as he can keep it simple. So if your hands are down, you already know it's man down.
3, Kyrie, go! What a shot!
Let me ask you something. What is your favorite part about Kyrie's game? Drop it in the comments below. And if you were to ask me, I would have to say it's his ability to create in that in-between area. Mid-range scoring. With Kyrie being a smaller guy, it's highly important that he's creative with the way he creates space. And right here, you can see that Walker is all up on him. So what does Irving do? Well, he first uses that jab step to make him back off. At this point, Kai has one or two options. He can either attack towards the left, or he can attack down the right side. And I guess if you wanted to add in a third option, he could swing this back to Maxey since Naz Reid is in deep help position. All of these are decent options, but if he drops towards the left, he could run right into a double team with Naz Reid. And if he swings it back to Maxey, he would be depending on him to knock down a 3-ball. Now I'm not saying that both of those couldn't work, but when you see that this right side is cleared out to attack, this would be the best choice. So now with Walker's lead foot up high, Irving can attack down the sideline with an advantage, and right here is how you can beat an aggressive defender with ease. If you find yourself with a defender riding you hard to the basket like this, all you have to do is slightly get into their body to initiate a step back, and now the world is yours. The Timberwolves will do their best to try and stop Irving by having guys hedge hard and stay with him off these screens, but this time Cat's a victim to that snatchback, and now with Mike Conley stepping up, Kyrie used that hezzy directly into a through the legs cross back the same direction, and just before Cat can contest a pull up, it's already underway. To build on it further, you'll see Cat hedge hard again on this high screen here, and instead of releasing back like last possession, he opts in to stand with Irving all the way, but wham! That step back is just too lethal, and this should have been an and one. This mid-range creation is truly something special. Irving can be the guy to stay patient to allow the defense to clear, to then go put down a wrong foot fading jumper over the defense. He can also keep it simple when coming off the screen by just rising up over the top after a couple dribbles, and if he needs to, he'll use that speed off the pick and roll to make the big man recover hard to the basket, but little do they know, he's gonna stop and pop to sink it. This here is my favorite part of Kyrie's game, but let's be serious. We all know his finishing inside is truly his bread and butter. Elite finishing. By now, you all know that Irving is a master of angles, and for a defender, the worst position to be in is an open floor, Kyrie with the ball, and a head of steam. This here makes you play aggressive recovery defense, and with Kyrie being 6'2 and Jaden McDaniels being 6'10, it makes it extremely easy to get into his hip when he sharply cuts into his space. And in basketball, the game is an art, and that doesn't mean just putting the ball in the basket. It also means how well you can sell the contact to get another chance at the line. I know some of you may not like it, but having the awareness to know you beat your defender and not just fly right to the basket is amazing, because sometimes you'll have that opportunity to cut back into your defender, and that's what not only gets you easier points, but it also can put the defense in foul trouble. Now, as good as that skill is, Kyrie won't always do that. As here when he rejects the screen, he pushes directly to the paint with no hesitation, and yes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker did slide over to help, but here's where Kyrie will gather towards the left to make you get in the air, and now with this right side wide open, he'll bring it back to the right hand to put this up and over the front of the rim. If you're a defender, I know it gets tiring trying to guess what Irving will do next, as sometimes he'll slow it down to initiate a post up near the free throw line, and once you get ready to absorb the contact, he'll just end up stepping through while carrying over the help defender to go get a bucket. If you ask me, it's pretty much make one mistake and you're gonna pay. Anthony Edwards here is in solid guarding position, but when Kyrie uses that jab step, it makes Ant fall towards the baseline for a brief moment, and that's all that's needed for Kai to get into the paint to drop in the floater. In this series, it wasn't all about getting in the air and converting highly flashy layups. As for Irving, it was all about getting to his spot inside and then beating the defense before they could totally affect the shot. This here would allow Kyrie to score inside pretty much whenever he wanted, and with his driving skills being something the defense has to worry about deeply, they would all out leave their man on the backside to contest him, and well, here we go. Not only would this happen once, as it would happen twice when driving the baseline, 3 times when blowing past the defense and carrying over the help, and 4 times when he would come off the pick and roll to send it high in the air for Gafford to go get it. This series here was truly fun to watch, as Kyrie made the defense look hopeless when guarding him, and he wasn't even the first option. Like sure, he handled the ball a lot, and pretty much is 1A, 1B with Luka, but we all know just what Luka did to Minnesota in this series, so it's safe to say that Kyrie was the second option, but nonetheless, a deadly option that Minnesota couldn't figure out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.